Hello, dear America. My name is Anthony Wall, Anthony Sylvester Raymond Wall. I've been, I want to have a kids and family. And there are people, sick people, interbranch, intermilitary, even intercoast guard, recorded, worse than extortion, putting lies, attaching everyone to fake things in databases, spreading lies through kids that spread illusions that they then self value. For example, they used a DACA program to consolidate this, and that's actually recorded. But the same people into with those natures of jobs interbranch, individually grouped and together, they are crime methods. The same way it is important to understand what they're exploiting. For example, in relationship to how we have A, B, and C, and then we have the 10 letters after that, and the nine uniquely, distinctly, and non-distinctly. For example, stopping at I, and we have the 10 words after O, MNO, also bonded distinctly, non-distinctly, like ABC. So D through L. If we share that L as value, temporary positive, that longing for each other, man and woman. But do we, if we don't share its value for the complete identity of volumes, identity of relationship to itself as the valued system we have value treatments for in the first place, to discern this. Now, tactically, other value nature systems, worse than tactically other, from semi ancient times. This just reminds. So, in other words, I want you need to have kids while you're still young. They're preventing people from this is worse than extortion. When I was a kid, people I don't even know, this is the uses of DACA. They made confessions to me out of nowhere when I was walking by. And now these are people already involved with database racketeering. A whole bunch of natures of crime on and off campuses with that. Sustained. And you don't know the people's names. This is another methods and natures of the same old racketeering. But these are the people that pretend, oh, we have the right to lie. Because they're victim predators originally and still. This is what America's history is about. The racketeering method that made people motivated to roles through motivations, natures, needs, interests, all juxtaposed, worse than indifferent to what forced that juxtaposed, forced everyone to positive treatments. So when I say I'm not kidding, the scientists share an identity. Boxings. So we have the judge, we have the ref is supposed to be neutral. We have the neutral corner. Go to the neutral corner if you knock someone down in boxing, for example. This is about positive identity. We have the 5 pillars of Islam. We have the Trinity. One Trinity is those 5 pillars, but we're in a state. We're in a diffusion, as a quality of diffusion, where our body has hypervalue because it's where and how one identity of forever nature is making more of itself. So we are complete positive, or we're positive or negative roles with the perfection of its identity, which will only stay positive unto itself. Even neutrality, the existence of neutrality itself, is a demonstration of this. Associated with what really causes positive value nature progressions, acts, and natures. Evolution's fruits and gifts right here, or forces them away, lethal fadis. And Santa Claus, the greatest gifts of Santa Claus could only be a prayer to have this demonstrated, understood again. See, the ancient time, what revealed the sophistication of the republic for which we stand that was inherited was a nature of fact treatment of science this way before it became criminally foreign influenced. It is most probable that alpha and omega and yin yang is demonstrable. They can't be taught properly unless you explain how yin yang is inside omega and is outside of it distinctly and non-distinctly. because this is about three invisible but bonded and increasing natures of volume, the Trinity, per science. Now, I'm not even getting to faith yet. And this is per science noted in the beginning of the Old Testament. But this is worse than just obfuscated. They consciously make the defenses of modern religions, of the Quran and of the Old Testament, out of sequence, not allowing all that to what is right up front about having to do with the criminal insidious natures of positive note, of identity treatments note. So this is identity's course, why we are each an individual complete nature of volume. And again, so M and O are the middle. They have three identities but they are mostly active value as the one value they share together that is making more and more of itself. Not as male, not as female, not as them both together without another Trinity nature equal to that, and not without the value of that positive simultaneously or not. When not, then it's negative value nature as identity, nature itself. That with value to what is positive and negative simultaneously, no. So ratiocination and pseudo-ratiocination share an identity simultaneously. That is increasing value. Its identity of value progression, it's per its identity of relationship to itself, that is that is self-generating, per how it is simultaneous nature and distinct and simultaneous nature, which is how it is semi-natures two ways. That could not be its value and its identity unless they were simultaneously semi-nature and their two ways, and they make more of a complete nature that will only stay again positive onto itself, onto and as itself. This is Earth's distinct and non-distinct relationship to the rest of space nature first, while having that, and from beyond that another way at the same time. Is its distinct and non-distinct and simultaneous nature of relationship, identity of relationship to itself, the value of that to itself, again, which will only stay positive. There is no such thing as neutrality where this is the subject. Neutrality is a tool for that, as all things are at once, individually grouped together, all bonded. By the way, it is two semi-natures bonded. By the way, it is simultaneous nature also as that, and as it increasing, with it as another semi-nature part of that Trinity. It's complete, because every identity will only stay complete because this identity will. It's its identity. This is why we all share this identity that makes us need water. Positive is talking to us. This is, but now through systems tactiliterian. Now through value nature systems, no, all you identity of relationships to the ground, self-valuing zoning laws, means to infrastructure, everything like that, involved with the fact cheating nature torture, no, slavery of our founders, and forced words, and racketeering, forced abuses, tortures like fact cheating nature, especially. There's fact cheating nature, racketeering is the cause for all the crazy evils with colonization here and there. Individual nations individually grouped in together in a semi-ancient trap, in an identity of negative value nature progression, self-value. Predators, victims only capable of being predators, only capable of blaming and having blame and valuing having blamed on other things, others themselves, the real causes for negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures. Ones like criminal insidious natures, ones like wrongdoing. A whole bunch of people had to a DeMorrow family, and to retired and standing detectives with Weathersfield Police, and with on off the state. See, the state of Connecticut judicial branch offices are in this town. The state of Connecticut prison offices are in this town. Houses on off them, and people so associated with them are involved with racketeering uses of the branches of government individually grouped and together. And then they cover that up here the same way they do in other nations for against crimes against art because they're too expensive. In other words, they have statutes, but they have criminal reading of the statutes before that here and there that they attribute to our nature naturally. But it's only because we have the racketeer worse than racketeering method. I'm not a lawyer. Lawyers originally and still recorded involved effectively maintain criminally foreign influenced qualities of fact achieving nature. Quality is a relationship to positive identity. I had a very nice professor named Tyson from CCSU. Not to be concerned, confused with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson also reportedly involved with a real or granted degree, which I'm sure, I know he's a brilliant guy. And I'm sure he'll never get the timing to have that because everyone's brilliance is not being not let free speech originally instilled. Everyone's wanting to have everyone has sensibilities reliant upon notions of the integrity of experts originally still roles with exploitation of where everyone leaning on experts when someone needs to report when the experts are wrong. They're just making things up, stealing people's identities, valuing that already haven't been done. Boxing is fun, one way alone. To fight everyone at once to win. The species course again. Boxings begin. We don't blame other things others than selves for what is semi-ancient, shared, self-valued racketeering roles. We have child abuse branches, every modern nation at once. Their quality of fact keeping nature styles are forced by nature itself. What is nature again? It is identity's identity of relationship to itself and is the value of that. Further, not just those three ways. As one way is identity relationship to itself. Again, as the value of that. Again, as what causes positive value nature progressions, acts of natures here, and its fruits and gifts, or what forces that away from here, Leaf of Hadith. Now, this is through we have value nature systems that will say other. They'll say success is other. Don't think. Do this is what works to make money. Forget it. We never had American history told. Blame other things, others themselves. Why? They blame it on racism. Then you want to have fights about with physical delusions and with criminal foreign influence sciences across the board of nations, let alone here too. We have our founders' history by the experts who knows the most, the knowledge, worse than obfuscated. The fact, cheating nature, torture of, and slavery of our founders, specifically where our subject here is unceasingly and increasingly invisible but still discernible. This is body of value discernment, algebraic consciousness. With this YouTube channel, Anthony Wall, what I'm about here, I need reliefs. Whole areas need reliefs. We need relief from the sensibilities, the treatments of positive formal. They pretend they have the right to like it. They pretend they're criminal insidiousness natures legitimately because they're sick. Because they came through criminally foreign influence sciences. So now on YouTube, I don't know if it's tied. What could be, they're not letting me go live. Like this video should be live, but I'm putting into my recording into my computer now. It's because they have, they have industries and the way people speak, and everyone's an influencer now. Criminal foreign influences. See that term? I'm not a lawyer. Now, see, we're going to have to talk about all the points of correlation that show we have standing criminal and seditious natures of government individually grouped together, hiding it, valuing it, having been hidden through methods, and as natures through the racketeering method that keeps them needing to hide that perpetually, increasingly lipogressions, standing lipogression cover up nature's styles, needs valuing abuses of each age of fact treatment nature so they can evaluate while they're simultaneously valuing all that it causes, blame to other things other than self. That's why it's important to counter intercities, each age of fact treatment nature, involved with consciously recorded conscious criminal uses of each nature of the department, criminally by the same minority that recorded, maintained the majority involved in branches recorded crime methods, natures individually grouped together. Like grouped, for example, we have to counter though the judicial branch and the executive branch for preventing mandated law. Now, see, while the preventing mandated law, they are again worse than extortion, worse than identity thefts, frauds, and racketeering, worse than just database racketeering, medical racketeering against kids. These are people with doctors with their drug clicks, sexual circles, interbranch, through lifetimes maintaining people with areas for sensibilities roles for how they keep fake integrity of law titles, where great people, great response times, but it's not great where it's still in collusion with those natures of racketeering involved here. Real sick. That's what's producing the steady stream going into courts, having areas where there are shootings all the time. The same people involved with those areas are the identities of law, various natures of courts. Again, on off the state prison offices, on off the state prison offices, on off the state judicial branch offices. All along that route, people involved with other natures of racketeering with them. Same thing, racketeering, other natures of motivations, other methods of it. Therefore, then methods and natures and needs and styles hiding it, pretending other. People I don't know, so then, and others don't know, have to tell them this too. Have to, everyone's shocked, making awes. This is all juxtaposed, other motivations, natures, needs, interests, roles with this again. Juxtaposed. So we could have a breaching screen, breaching tools, breaching weapons, and worse. It is not cool to go through lifetimes letting sensibilities and emotions pretend that they could speak for sequence true. And science, originally with no free speech and still with no free speech, they need to pretend other by forcing sustained crimes and lying overall about the quality of our speech, pretending, valuing what they are recorded consciously knowing is criminally stacked databases against each age of fact treatment nature. They consciously would rather imply to people that it's about money, whatever. The various natures of courts, their family members, like a De La Fera family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with a Spada family, and with other people used criminally. Then I say that these people I barely know sought me out to make confessions. One sister had a whole bunch of boyfriends at the same time, all in collusion too at the same time, with racketeering with them, and with identity thefts. A whole bunch of people tied to mobile gas stations, and the one on Town Line Drive, on and off that location, a whole bunch of foreign and domestic, private, overt criminal enterprises, and interbranch cliques, retired and standing judges involved with child offenders, of juxtaposed child abuses, natures of it, uses of it, intercampuses of each age and nature tied. They keep them needing to hide life progressions, needing to hide their standing natures as actually recorded. They need to hide from and value hurt each age of correlation nature, which has a simultaneously very delicate and simultaneously unceasingly strong. And I mean simultaneously strong means. But their strengths both ways are simultaneously also in a simultaneously racketeering method that keeps a whole bunch of methods of liars that are pretending they're about positive, but as criminal insidious natures of positive, as wrongdoers on a mass scale, as criminal insidiousness natures of identities, of jobs, and of titles on a mass scale. here and there, every modern nation, valuing that as an identity of negative value nature progression, valuing fake size where all the points of correlation are. All the nature of all the natures of this one that is self-generating. That is the identity of infinity, which only increases. Heaven and hell came from this. Algebraic consciousness, I tell it best, boxing. So neutrality is only a demonstration of one identity that will only stay positive unto itself. And so then you see, M and O, we all come from the mother. And both M, left to right, M, and right to left, I mean M, and left to right, A, they're both sharing that L, that longing, as temporary positive. See, but we have forever nature's course here, always too fast, too slow. That's why they delay taking complaints, worrying about the concerns of people with legitimate complaints online, because they have interbranch family, a whole bunch of people tied to a two-route highway that I barely know because they had to pretend they knew me years before they did. After my class graduated, then I had to stay because of one class. I had no conversation personally with that teacher. I knew I was going to have to describe that someday. I didn't know it was going to develop as the people involved with trade center racketeering roles, other natures of racketeering roles with that. A whole bunch of people tied to even nuns and in private schools associated with West Farms Mall and with CCSU. Criminal uses of serial killers, more than one, tied to like boxing gyms, uses of Mike Tyson, because that's now we're talking about identity, use of every single person. In other words, by CCSU involved with human trafficking acts, with also with these serial killer clicks, but with like a detective Samuda roles with courts forging names, switching names, falsifying police reports, human trafficking acts. His switching he switched names and identities with officer Magnanos from East Hartford with a whole bunch of other people through time recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. When I was a kid, they tricked me to their presence, whole bunch so they could pretend other through time, whole bunch of ways. A whole bunch of people tied to tomorrows, as the people also with both mobile gas stations in Weathersfield recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with them a whole bunch of natures of racketeering growing up, and with people involved with AT&T, and then with the FBI and CIA families, with human trafficking, identity thefts, uses of Facebook for that, where they pretend that with passions that they knew people, and then they say that they're all my father's the CIA. That's one of the ones involved with the principal sex offenders campus. Then that was one of the ways they furthered it, forced it. Just got caught anyway by accident. Now these are also people, a whole bunch of families from Newtown, Sandy Hook, tied to Weathersfield, and these are also mothers of students who are. She also there's an O'Neill lady also who's involved with teaching at another school in West Hartford. There are a bunch of professionals with West Hartford of various natures of professions, like medical racketeering, forging names, switching names. Now, these are the people that were involved with database racketeering when I was a kid, as the people with the racketeering on and off state judicial branch office, on and off state prison offices. And these are people leading up to and in the trade center context, first criminally involved, interbranch, individually grouped and together from Connecticut, as the ones racketeering acts rolls further tied to a proven post-dated documents from inside the Ninth Circuit, shown to the panel of judges to make them appear and made it rule it was filed late. So then that proven led to a 2006 part of a case /S with former director of the FBI. Various, like 3 of his co-defendants and his lawyer are recorded, and with their family members are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved racketeering roles with a house with my grammar school. Excuse me, when I was a kid, with people now involved with their own kids, with prosecutors and with judges involved with also former Governor Malloy, I never met him in my life. He's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with Connecticut media and with agencies and judges with a principal sex offender and their crimes that forced it. And their crimes since that have been hiding live aggressions, spreading lies through kids, really evil. They have men and women associated like with the name with a Joshua Julian and a Joshua Stryker. Joshua Julian spreading lies with overt criminal enterprises that were recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with a whole bunch of nations involved with our job sites, like construction sites, and like policing of that. And then they have debates and they have contrasts with courts. But see, those courts are also now recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved racketeering, preventing mandated law, forging names, switching names, further sequence shifts from uses of Connecticut courts, uses of their family members of the police of those courts, all the positions associated with it. So they stack names, they make over allegations, and they exploit statutes already criminally originally and still. And they say, oh, they're making allegations against us. They won't put anything into writing, which is part of their torture method, which is part of their extortion method, which is part of worse than their just identity thefts, frauds, and racketeering recorded originally and still. What color would the law is identity racketeering? What color law already had modern nations A through B invested, just like the all roles as slaves, as pseudo positive treatment natures, thanking God for the nature of reliefs handed, which again was juxtaposed with an as what couldn't be self defended, way short of being self defended to an extent to do anything but gather more criminal serious natures masked, more people blaming on other things others themselves, more people that way, where and as and how it counts, as quality of fact sheet nature, blame other people for things themselves, than defending that. That's what they used Comey for Mueller, especially if they were or not real FBI directors. They're recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with this. This is where the predicate is value and the predicate act are value simultaneously because they share an identity. See, but we have the FBI recorded delusions wrought with modern nations legal entries. It's recorded. So now they're not following mandated law. They're valuing how they're all logic racketeering natures. I'm not a doctor. I'll teach you how to think. Get their names. Get them to one name in sequence. They're recorded, confessed, and demonstrating they have doctors of psychology associated with um, medical locations like triages, emergency rooms. Now they're involved with a whole bunch of natures of wire crimes, mail crimes, identity theft, forging names, switching names, fake conversations with me. As people that did those crime roles, acts, pretended to have conversations with me behind my back that weren't even in my classes, pretended to meet at locations out of sequence, and hardly even know people. It's tied to the people I don't know at all, like this Joshua Julian, that I only know on Facebook is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with sicker crimes then they put a principal sex offender into Sandy Hook reportedly. You can't even believe the news because they also stole those kids that you to force him first by stealing kids, and they're still been hiding the WFSB. But also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with their sources, interbranch, retired and standing, other natures of federal criminals, people associated with them. They have Better Connecticut also involved with West Farms Mall with racketeering here. Now, these are people that attach me to fake locations and relationships to people on campus that I was never in relationship to on campus ever in my life. And they exploited that criminally because those people are involved with a whole bunch of natures racketeering with them. And these are people with crimes with former director of the FBI down, a whole bunch of their family members, all with the same house in my area, slash S. And we're connected to the people on and off the campuses I went to and with the Wethersfield police chief's family and his extended family member. Uses of the bakeries on Franklin Avenue, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Involved also with Fred Grisey with various agencies and judges involved with human trafficking, with identity thefts, frauds, racketeering. uses of people with the name Joey Quest, uses of a rope program in the past. Now they have a Quest program. So they keep, this is from off campuses. This is from off the Pentagon, then on off it before database relationships, before they were sophistication. This was exploiting how identity works as the nature of volume. So then we have 10. So 10 is complete number. Individual is a complete identity of volume. So we need someone. We have courage, people that will give their whole lives for someone else's orders. But when it comes down to using basic correlation, using basic free speech, using the recorded evidence of the denials of the basic free speech, and of the methods of it, which are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated collusion with white and black groups, victim predators of natures of wealth too, that are forcing roles with keeping states and areas each change of fact, treatment, nature, blaming other things, others themselves, and or hurting those people, hurting everyone. We're in an identity of negative value, nature, progression, humanity. That's why we're going into not just because logistics. We have to stay ahead. That's true, but because everyone's nuts. But what's true more than that? How you stay ahead is admitting beliefs. We need beliefs. We have a species that already knows, has the points, all the correlation we need to reveal evolution's fruits and gifts and means. These aren't it. We don't even have free speech. That's recorded. They are preventing mandated law. I'm asking you right here online. They're lying about what's recorded online so they can pretend behavior. They use behavior as a evidence racketeering method, tool, weapon, worse. That's recorded too. But see, they're not following the rules. They haven't followed them. We have precedents and have statutes criminally for an influence self-valued and that exploited more and more the identity of the ground. They already perfected this before they let roles into it. All victims, victim predators. That's how we have prosecutors raised, involved racketeering with evidences before they were prosecutors. They're kept incapable of defending themselves and of being able to sustain someone with speaking with sequence true, the order to the finite true, the order to the active true, the order to the progressive true, and identity's complete course. See, we have people trying to pretend, oh, we have the right to talk like morons, forge your name, switch names. Every time you talk, we're going to put fake things in the databases. This is a serious problem. These are also people with connections like an Iowa family, tied to a whole bunch of people with a Scalora family identity thefts, with houses in my area with them. I barely know the kid. He's also involved racketeering on and off the school's connected houses, on and off Buckley High School. Now, these are also people involved with time placements of ads through Connecticut media. They're keeping each industry used to keep states and areas criminal foreign influence self-valued or your hurt rolls. As where it has accounts too. Where this is about, science is about this invisible but still discernible, increasing nature or volume. And how it is so. So, should have been online live, this video. But see, we don't have that because we have recorded, they have the just like they rub off their database this is database racketeering before they're online policing. Also recorded interbranch courts use their Facebook pages for sexual, medical, judicial, and other natures of child abuses. And the roles around their roles with even leaders of the kids, sex offenders, with around their own kids, which they're also using men and women from off campuses to pretend lies with overt criminal enterprises, to pretend passions with them tied to their roles in criminal uses of undercover and of roles with confessions used. Now we have KKK and Confederate flag themed and black and white military police. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved office also with racketeering with foreign and domestic military on and off church locations. They have maintenance to styles of pseudo positive, logic, racketeering, sensibilities. So someone follow mandated law and let's deal with actually what's recorded. And get them from the names forging and switching into branch. New Britain Superior Court. They have their Facebook pages also used for way worse than the principal sex offender was put in jail for. Various natures of courts, Hartford courts, and other people outside that court since years before that progressively were making complaints about them, and I had been complaining about it and caught them recorded before they put all these human trafficking acts and roles with this detective Samuda. Also with their racketeering uses of pretending not to that I don't speak clear criminally because they want me to have pretend I have conversation with new people in the past I never knew. Because on CCSU they investigate things for vetting whatever tied to Sammy Vega too, tied to these people with the prison cliques, with these people with the military cliques, incapable of defending themselves and us at the same time where it counts. We have racketeering influenced states and areas. We have live progressions tied to databases since before computers were built, from before they were around everywhere. We had ancient since semi-ancient times. This ancient republic was wrought as a database relationship that is positive or negative, but the ancients knew this before criminal foreign influence devalued internation sciences, which is a part of our species course, which is a part of how you know how to cause evolution. The ancients couldn't believe that, couldn't fathom we would forget this, because they couldn't fathom how we would be made to forget this. This did this to modern nations before. This did this and sustained through generations to Native Americans before our founders were even born. And then we're going to go into the next phase of it even worse. And James Madison preempted that and stuck up what is surface simultaneous value. Freedom of speech, what we don't have. Freedom not to be tortured, what we don't have. Freedom to have legal representation, which we were still originally still worse than don't have. Freedom, to health and life, we don't even have. Don't forget that it's recorded. That and how we have each identity of the law, racketeering roles recorded with these shootings, each one of them. Don't forget that. Wake them. They love the passion, where it's easy to pretend, even when because it's real, but it's not. Of course, you feel bad. Every day, these people are involved with sicker. Oh, it's the money. They blame on other things other than themselves, not by accident. These are not means. We have recorded criminally foreign influence statutes. Who disbelieves? Have them pick one name in sequence. I'm not even a lawyer. I'll delineate their delusions from their criminal foreign influences for you now. They want to bring up prejudice only, not just, they want to pretend it's for ratings. They need to blame other things other than themselves that are real. They'd rather get caught for crimes so they can keep it all because of how that's kept, what they're actually involved with. We don't have science speaking every day. We have a theater speaking. There's already going to be theaters to say it. Then don't say you're going to be science too, and then pretend the theater parts different time of day is not tied to or lied to. Worse than that. So we have a Hanson family. We have someone who says his name is Jordan Brown, and we have other people on Church Street in Old Weathersfield, and we're going to follow that path up to CCSU, and we're going to have other places talked about and people and families. I don't know, but I know they're involved with this interbranch racketeering, and I want a response in writing too. and or here, but I need because this is what's being happening. Mandated law forces you to respond here in writing, but you can't do it now. We have the Facebook pages interbranch involved with a whole bunch of natures of child abuses juxtaposed. That's a whole bunch of families that need to hide what their families did family members did together. Real sick, real sick. We have a whole bunch of people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated real sick racketeering roles on and off Hartford Hospital with judges, like with a Judge Killian, but there were other judges involved with him, other natures of courts, in that courts, Hartford courts, before that too. So we have to get the names forging, sequence shifting too. These are people pretending to fake things out of sequence too. These are recorded crime methods, whole methods recorded. They're actually recorded natures into branch, originally and still needing to repent. We need freedom of religion too. They know that, so they have those spots where they're involved with racketeering. They have religiously charged people that are complete frauds, involve crimes with their patients and criminals before they're in there. Whole bunch of sick degenerates. They make confessions, try to start conversation. They don't even know you, like the nurses, like a guy with the name Britt. I don't even remember a woman's name. But they have like a complaint box. All these things involve racketeering there. They just walk by you. They pretend to have a conversation with you. They forge your name, switch your name. Now these are people involved racketeering with houses in my area. Again, with former director of the FBI, many federal criminals, and ones as his co-defendants. Three of them and their family members involved with a whole bunch of people tied to the house slash S in my area. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated further in crime rolls worse with a principal sex offender then and now. Phil Collo. I never had a conversation with my life. He tried to pretend other. Two times I tried to explain that, and one time I never went to his house, and I don't know, there was near the high school and near the middle school. Also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated further foreign and domestic. A whole bunch of medical families, police forms, foreign and domestic, military, foreign and domestic. There's a Jim Socia, an Amy Socia, a Jen Socia, involved with a whole bunch of like a Jen Cormier and people from East Hartford. I never had a conversation with them. They tried to film other, to pretend other. Now there's a Ray Reynolds. They're involved with a whole bunch of people involved with doctors, with medical racketeering with kids, and with state police interstates. And again, racketeering with a whole bunch of federal criminals, especially with former director of the FBI, and with his location, his lawyer's location and person, and uses of Connecticut courts for racketeering, outside and inside, leading up to those cases and further, tied to such involved with a sequence shift proven inside the Ninth Circuit right before the Trade Center attack. That illusion shown to the judges from inside the court affected that way. These are branches also recorded inside outside of courts, individually grouped in together crime predators, whole crime methods. If you want to care, you talk about reliefs in relationship to the racketeering method using human identity. You don't pretend it's prejudice and hurt individuals so they can't speak, and you guys want to pretend they also recorded the method. They made people react. You're going to say it's because they're using groups. They're using the sexual groups especially. Who the hell? That's not. They make it like it's like a degenerate conversation. If you want to start fighting with someone, I bet you don't even know. They pretend. People make opinions. They don't even know you. Like online and media in relationship to, oh, look, you said this online, or you're not going to get the job. Those are all set up excuses. All styles blaming all the things others themselves, juxtaposed real motivations for it, like money, but not real. What's real is what would really juxtapose all that, so they can pretend that's real as styles of liars in relationship to nature's actual value progression, nature of volume's actual course, logics. See, ratiocination and pseudo-ratiocination, They share an identity simultaneously. This simultaneous nature is in demonstration to us all ways. English was revealed to teach this. So MNO, mother, everyone comes from mother. And we're either that complete value or not. Where and as and how we long. LM. M is the 13th letter, middle of 26. Now MNO, neutrality. N stands for neutrality. Well, I thought you said there is no such thing as neutrality. Where and as and how. The value of physics is invisible but still discernible. This nature or volume, where the invisible but still discernible is the value of the body. There's no such thing as neutral. There's neutral to what's going to cause positive value nature progressions, acts, and nature's loss or not. Or this is why the beginning of the Old Testament, how could it be about science? Where God, which is a variable, we right or wrong about it, algebraic consciousness. The identity that is true always is already mappable true always, and increasingly so. More than just bond onto every identity value progression individually grouped together. Facebook, please get me a response for. YouTube. Please, someone respond for them. We'll talk about the judges and the state's attorneys and private lawyers and overt criminal enterprises and private ones recorded in collusion with crime acts and methods and actually recorded natures. See criminal and citizens nature. See, the predicate act of the law is where the sciences share an identity box sings. So simultaneously, the predicate is value to English. Both of them in demonstration of identities, natures, nature of volume, which is only filling. It's self-generating. And so, Little Rap Guy and friends will teach you about this good. See X, Y, and Z. See how they're bonded too? W stands for body. Extinction. X stands for extinction. So they're bonded. They're separated from our value that way. L, M, N, O. And then P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, T, U. N, O, P, L, M, N, O. M, N, O. After O. P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, T, U. Wait, I'm messing up this thing. No, so you start from M. M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. The ninth letter. For the same reason, for the same reason I. See how you and I are like about the identity. The same reason I is the ninth letter after ABC, which are bonded. The letters are bonded individually grouped and together. Because their value as nature, and nature is value, and that simultaneously. By what? By the conjunction nature. That's what a conjunction is about, really. Its relationship to this identity of value progression inseparable from and as the value of all parts of space nature, increasingly so. This is how it is self-generating. This is how it is 5 semi-natures. This is how it is 3 semi-natures. This is how it is a simultaneous nature. Together, the value of that is self-generating, making more and more of what is even bigger than that as value. Just how the same exact way our identity is bigger than all the parts of our body. as value, as this value's course. Boxing's of source alone. Boxing. The sciences have failed. Campus Marcius, rise is here, all hail. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel of Anthony Wall at youtube.com/user/Romulus Wall. Anthony Wall, aka Romulus. Same thing as Little Rap Guy. Little Rap Guy, aka Romulus, also known as Romulus. This is Romulus science we're going to examine. But it's also, we're the theater part of it. We're going to enter this. This is also racketeering uses of Trinity College for through administrations. Now, they don't want to talk for different reasons. They don't want to discredit their election victories. This is how they have the sensibilities of each identity of each branch. Maintain this criminal CCS nature, tool weapons, tools, and worse, victims, but victim predators. Where and as now it counts. Will heal their souls. Follow mandated law, respond for them, someone. Please, now, here. Boxings. Pick one name in sequence.